Good evening, Rascal enjoyers. I hope you're doing alright, because it's time for the 48-hour analysis. Yes, just 2 days ago, all of these skins rotated into the Rust store, and basically, in this video, we're going to look at their progress based on sales and try and see, are these skins still holding up to being perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems that you need to be aware of? So sit back, relax, let's get started. Right, so of course, I'm sure many of you are well aware by now, after the first 24 hours of sales with every brand new Rust rotation we have, I'll go to HQM.app and take a screenshot. We can see the initial momentum of the sales, and we can compare that to previous weeks, and we can probably find some interesting details. And with this Rust store right here, I've got something very interesting to bring up. So, if you can recall, last week we made a big fuss about how these skins were hardly selling anything. It was really slow. There wasn't really that much traction. Well, things are different, more specifically for the gold chains poncho. So when I first saw that, I was a bit conflicted. I wasn't super thrilled, I guess you could say. I thought the skin was a bit too goofy, but hey, Face Punch accepted it, so, you know, it happened. And I was conflicted, sitting there saying, are people going to really want that? Turns out, yes, they do. So, basically, that's your best-selling skin in the past month. So far, with the first 24 hours of sales, I should say. So if we can compare, once again, last week we only saw the likes of the Tomb of the Octopus only doing just over 8,000 subscribers. Remember, with every sale that happens, you're automatically a subscriber. That's why we care so much about subscribers. We know at least 8,110 individual people bought that skin, whereas, you know, with the likes of the gold chains poncho, you got about 50% more. This even beat the likes of the Shadowborn Garage Door after the first 24 hours of sales, and we know that ended up with about 26,000 subscribers. So you can kind of understand that's looking pretty good at the moment based on interest, but will it actually work out quite alright? So I actually was on stream just yesterday and had a big discussion going over this, and now it's a video which I uploaded earlier, so feel free to go give that a good look. I do discuss like the quality of it and whatnot. Feel free to offer your opinions. A lot of people have, thank you very much for that, but it's starting to become a bit of a problem in regards to maybe it's selling a little bit too much, but I'll save that for when we actually do the discussion right about now. So let's just quickly hop over to here and look at the current HQM page. Here we are. So it is a little bit later, just a bit, since the 48 hours, but basically, let's get started. Let's really focus talking about the likes of the gold chains poncho right now. So we've only had about an extra 5,000 sales for the second day. Not that it's much of a problem, but the point I was trying to lead towards was, I get the feeling we probably might have a problem with oversaturation. I'm talking the amount that have been bought and genuine demand. Let's put my... So basically, I think we're getting a little bit too many sales compared to genuine demand, and I can't help but assume the gold chains poncho is going to have a problem with far too much quantity listed on the Steam market and third-party sites, which of course leads to the likes of its price suffering. So initially I thought maybe gold chains poncho won't sell that much because it's a little bit more expensive. Well, that didn't stop it, did it? So, yeah, let's just quickly go over to here, get a good look at that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably saw that and thought, wow, that's really goofy, I've got to buy that. And, well, evidently, yeah. Well, I've looked on the likes of the subreddit, Rust subreddit to be precise. I've looked on Twitter. It's a bit 50-50, but clearly the people who do like it literally did jump in and go ahead and buy it. And I can't help but assume we might get fairly close to about 30,000 sales. Like I said, if we could just quickly go back about a month, you can see the likes of the Shadowborn Garage Door, that reached just under 26,000 subscribers. And after the first 24 hours of sales, it had 1,000 less compared to the likes of this poncho right here. Now, maybe it just might be initial, just an initial hype, and maybe it's starting to calm down right about now, but I think it really likely will be getting close to 30,000 sales, more specifically subscribers, I should say. Remember, HQM can only see so many accounts. It doesn't necessarily mean it can see every single account that exists. So based on what we can see, I do believe it's going to do over 30,000 sales. There's going to be at least 30,000 of these skins that exists in Rust. Let's put it that way. Right, so, sorry about my nose. I'm getting something really weird there. I don't know if we're getting a continuation, so that's at least one positive we could have discussed. But looking at this, well, we will continue the collection. I mean, it's right there. There you go. I should have looked earlier, but yep, there we go. So what are they going to do? Is it going to be primitive skins? Is it going to be like tier 3 or something? Or, you know, is it actually going to work with the gold chains poncho. I don't know what they're going to do. Now, if it turns out to be something even goofier, maybe it just turns into a very goofy set and people love it, and then it goes up in price, and who knows. But it does look like the skin creators themselves do plan on continuing the collection. Okay, that's cool, that's nice. But it's not like we've seen a lot of primitive skins starting off with the likes of a poncho and, well, usually a bandana, and then never, getting the likes of a continuation. Well, Skullkiller was a very good example of the likes of that, so I can quickly remind you all. We've seen the likes of many attempts recently for Skullkiller primitive skins, but none of them have been accepted. Whereas, when we look at the likes of this, it's selling very well. Maybe Face Punch would be financially motivated to want to continue it, but we haven't even seen the continuations yet. So, of course, like I always say, always keep an eye on the workshop. Keep following all the newer skins to be submitted, and maybe, just maybe, something very interesting will be following up from this. But I got no idea what it would be. So maybe it'd be like a burlap shirt and pants, or maybe it would probably be something like Tier 3 or Tier 2 armor. I would prefer primitive, because then you can actually use it with, the likes of that poncho. So we'll see. But I am sitting here saying I do believe it's going to reach around 30,000 sales. And I do think that's going to end up becoming a bit of a problem for it. It, at the very least, is abnormal. So, of course, on Wednesday night, we can, hop on my stream. We can discuss all the nice positives and all the potential negatives, and we'll probably figure out a decent price to offer. After that, we'll, of course, look at the buy order support, see if there's enough buy orders, and, of course, enough buy orders reaching up to a reasonable price to then consider if we actually want to jump in and buy that. But I can't help but assume there's going to probably be some very, very, very awkward things going on with the likes of this. I do think a lot of people bought this in excess with the pure intent to sell. Or rather, I have heard this from a few people. They bought the skin and then they didn't like it. And only some of them refunded it. So, I don't know. We shall see. Maybe loads of people will feel the need to want to sell it as fast as they can. We'll have to wait until Wednesday. So, yeah. Now, just to quickly remind all of you, I did mention this in the likes of my video here, but there is a potential outcome that maybe it ends up like the gold poncho. Loads of people saw that, thought that was goofy, and, well, look at it now. That sold for $2.49 in the Rust store. Now it sells for about 60 cents at best. And then, for all the people sitting here saying, oh, but Hedge, it's deceptive. Not everybody's going to realise they're wearing a poncho. Well, let me remind you of the likes of the Berserker jacket. Well, the lack of a jacket, I guess you could say. I'm joking, the cloak jacket. Do you remember this? So basically, this sold for $3.49. Now, it did sell a lot. It was very hyped up, but now you're kind of remembering that the gold chains poncho is very hyped up at the moment. Well, guess what? A lot of stock was thrown on the Steam market, and essentially it went down in price pretty hard. So $3.49 initially. Oh, let's remove high liquidity. There we go. Yeah, initially selling very nicely above $4, but then it starts to go down, starts to go up a little bit over here with post-Christmas, then it goes down during February, March. So yeah, at one point, this was down real bad, like down to $1.50. It has been recovering quite recently, like most skins at the moment, as we get, as we pass the likes of the Easter dip and move towards the likes of the summer. Well, that's improving, but it did go down pretty hard, and there was a lot of skins being listed. So be cautious, be wary, smart thing to do, wait until Wednesday, all right? So we'll see how that turns out, but don't be surprised if we get close to 30,000 sales. I've said that like 4 times now. Shall we move on to the next skin? So with all the fuss talking about the likes of that skin, all the other skins here, they haven't really gone that crazy. In fact, it's very tame for the other ones. So maybe that's like taken up all the attention, and all of these other skins here are going to sell, well, very nicely. Now, at the very least, with the likes of the high quality metal base box, we do have a direct comparison, and, well, unfortunately, it's not noted as a collection here, but yeah, we have the likes of the stone base box to compare to. Well, I look at this, and I don't see a collection that's going to be helping each other out so much. Rather, I can't help but assume they're going to be competing with each other. However, when this was accepted, this did go up in price because loads of people quickly jumped in and bought into it. All right, so at the moment, it does look to be like a positive thing. But you just know there's going to be another one. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a wood base box being resubmitted. Remember, that was the initial one that was submitted, but it wasn't accepted, but the stone one was. So, can't help but assume the wooden one's going to get resubmitted. I think we'll see the likes of a sheet metal one. Who knows what else could come out after that? But the problem is, will people buy all of them to have a set? Are you ever having that many small boxes? And then also, like, are they always going to want to skin them in the, you know, in the different way, like, you know, to have the full set out? I get the feeling people are just going to probably end up picking one of them. And, well, that's a bit of a problem because you want to see all of them sell well and always be in demand. But if, like, people are probably only going to choose one, I'm not saying collectively they're all going to agree to, like, pick only one, but they themselves would only want one. Therefore, with quite a lot of sales, because Stone Base Box did do just under 20,000 sales, I feel like that's going to get pretty close to it. But if there's a lot of them available, and people are kind of split on what ones they want because they probably don't want to spend $12.50 on all of them, you're kind of building up to a bit of a problem there, aren't you? So, in the future, I can't help but assume I don't think they're all going to be in the positive. Now, that's like a potential thing that could happen. I'm not saying it's definitive, but do you understand what I'm saying? When we get the full set, that's where I feel like everyone's going to be like, well, actually, I don't really need all of these ones because I only ever use that one, so I'm just going to keep that one and sell the others. And if everybody starts trying to sell theirs rather than buy them, we got a lot of quantity on the Steam market then, and people compete with each other to sell, and, well, there you go. Then you end up with that type of problem. More people trying to sell than buy, values go down, prices go bad. So, maybe I'm just very pessimistic. Maybe. At the end of the day, clearly people like these skins, and of course I know that because I've made a big fuss talking about how loads of people going crazy in the likes of Twitter, you know, raving about it and whatnot. It's a comfy looking skin. Mr.38 has done a very nice job. But I can't guarantee we're definitely going to see the rest of them being accepted. I feel positive that it's likely going to happen though. But will the whole set boost each other up? Or will people start picking favourites, and then suddenly it's a problem over attention, and then only one or two end up being in the positive, or maybe none of them, because, you know, all the attention spread about. Or maybe there's another small box collection that comes out in the future. Look, there's many possibilities, but I am worried that I don't think everyone's going to be super positive for these skins forever. But for now, it is working. And, well, can't help but assume we will be seeing another one being produced, well, on the workshop. So you've got to keep an eye on the workshop. There you go. So, yeah, with the current sales, I think we're going to get close to the likes of 19,000 subscribers, exactly like the Stone Base Box. It's also abnormal, so we don't have to rush into buying it. We can, of course, wait until Wednesday, do the whole deal with the likes of the abnormal barders, and yeah. Will it end up exactly the same as the Stone Base Box? But remember, why is the Stone Base Box doing so well at the moment? Because we got that being accepted. Now, initially, Stone Base Box did actually do a very good job in retaining its value. Instead, well, the point I'm trying to get across is it's basically stayed in a positive ever since it became marketable. So right now, currently selling at $3.27, only 31 listings, all right? Only 31 listings, that's hardly anything. Most skins on the Steam market, Rust skins that is, on average they have about 100 quantities, so that's way below. So it's very easy for it to rise up in price because there's only so many of them to go around. Right, so over to here, you can see initially it kind of did very nicely. It did dip down a fair bit, but it's recovered and done quite nicely ever since we saw the likes of the high quality metal base box being accepted. So will it stay like that forever, or will we potentially see some problems later down the line? Of course, you would know we do have the likes of the autumn, fall, seasonal dip, but we still have the summer before it, so maybe it still keeps rising with every new skin being accepted, and then we have the nice collection. But maybe it only lasts for the summertime, and once September hits, oh no, it's gone down in price. We shall see. But again, I must be thinking very pessimistically. It's doing very well. Keep up the good work, Mr.38, and of course, always keep an eye on the likes of the workshop. But no, nothing's been said. But I do expect another resubmission of the wooden one, or at least a sheet metal one. We shall see. Let's move on to the next thing. Norseman Tier 3. Caglian. I am very confident he will be continuing this. So if we could just quickly go to the workshop, look at the comments. Has anything been said? And yes, there you go. Immediately right there. So, yep. they're feeling positive to continue it as expected. This is the very beginning of the, a brand new collection, the first core piece, and typically, by default, you would understand that, well, of course, if we do see the likes of Hoodie and Pants or Tier 2 being submitted and accepted, we know that's going to spike in demand, spike in price. Doesn't matter, whatever it is, even if it's a skin collection that isn't very in demand, if it gets those acceptances, if it gets those new skins, those new core pieces being accepted, the pre-existing core pieces will spike in demand, spike in price. It's inevitable if we do see those continuations. I've seen many core pieces randomly being accepted here and there in Rust stores of the past, but then they never get any continuations. It's unfortunate, but it does happen, all right? So just because that got accepted, it's not 100% certain, confirmed, we're definitely going to see the likes of the extra skins being, accepted. That's up to Face Punch, and we know how they like to accept skins. So we did just recently see the likes of Cyber Collection wrapping up and finishing, and that was nice. But we're not always going to see things like that, all right? So just be aware. Now, with the current sales that we're seeing with the likes of this Tier 3, can't help but assume we're going to probably reach to around 15,000 sales, which is totally fine. That's not crazy. If you were to compare all the metal face masks of the past, you might notice that that's not too bad for the likes of the sales. Chameleon only did 13,000. And then we got the likes of Cyber Mask for just under 14,000. Now, price is definitely a factor. This is only 99 cents each for both of those pieces. Chameleon was $2, Cyber was $2 each as well. So I do think we will surpass it in terms of quantity overall, but let's see what comes out afterwards. Don't forget, maybe the future skins might be a little bit more expensive, and maybe they sell a lot less. And if they sell a lot less, unfortunately, what happens is, when you compare a full set, well, let me just show you the likes of the Abyss Collection and everything will make sense. Do you remember when the Abyss Collection started off with Tier 3, but then all the following clothing and armor skins that came out after it sold so much less that Tier 3 went down real bad? Because initially, these did about just under 30,000 sales bare minimum. Alright, that's cool. People clearly liked the design, thought it looked cool, wanted it, and then of course bought it. But when we got the likes of the Tier 2 armor, well, that Tier 2 armor only did about 15,000 sales on average. That's significantly less compared to this. And look what happened. That went down real bad. And then, of course, we got the likes of Hoodie and Pants. Okay, that's cool. But guess what? That sold significantly less compared to this as well. So now that this collection was completed and finished and whatnot, you could clearly see this only suffered, whereas these, well, they did a decent job retaining their value and whatnot. So as long as it stays in demand, it's okay. But not this, because there's so much more of these compared to these. And unfortunately, nobody would have been able to anticipate that because, well, it's the first pieces to be accepted. More specifically, the first core pieces to be accepted. Tier 2 and Hoodie and Pants followed it afterwards. Could we expect potentially the same thing to happen to this? Well, no, not really. I don't really expect anything like that to happen, but you've got to be prepared for such a thing. So that's more of a case of if we do see the continuations appear and being accepted in the future Rust store. So we'll talk about that if we do see that happen. But as of now, I'm only expecting about 15,000 sales, which would be a lot less compared to the likes of what we saw for that Abyss Tier 3. So, yeah, again, am I very pessimistic? I think I am. I don't know what's happened to me. But, yeah, I should also point out that Tier 3 armor, it's not abnormal. So Wednesday, we're going to have to sit there, look at it, and think, do I just want to stick with doing a buy order? Or do I want to actually jump in and make a purchase here and there? We'll see. But I would expect, at the very least, we will be seeing a workshop submission of the likes of a sequel, continuations and whatnot. But it's up to Face Punch if they want to accept it. So, okay. So with that, I think that's going to do about 15,000 sales. I think that'll be okay. Let's move on to the next thing. Let's go talk about the likes of the Tomb of the Octopus metal door. So yeah, this was a week where we got 2 sheet metal doors. Okay, well, we'll roll with that then. And, well, both of them have sold very similar numbers, which is quite surprising to me. But with the likes of the Tomb of the Octopus metal door, it's at least part of a collection. Now, very weirdly, right, this was accepted as an early pick, and it skipped the skin in the middle. There was actually a large box that was submitted. Now, either way, large box or sheet metal door, it would have been a bit of a problem anyway, because of course, if you can recall, literally just the 2 weeks before, we went a bit back and forth with the likes of Large Box and Sheep in the Door for the Blocky and the Shadowborn collection, because of course, if I go back 2 weeks, you can see that, yeah, they kind of interchanged with each other. So regardless, we would have had like 3 Sheep in the Doors or 3 large boxes in a row over the past 3 weeks. Well, it was Sheep in the Door that was picked, and then for some reason another Sheep in the Door was picked. But here's the problem: we've just had how many Sheep in the Doors being accepted in 3 weeks? 4. So, problem. Do you notice the problem? Yeah, I noticed the problem. They're not doing a very good retaining their value. Uh-oh, yeah. I feel like it's just probably super safe to say now that I am not confident in Sheep in the Doors. Like, no matter what, yes, even if we see continuations appear like a week literally afterwards and whatnot, yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing very well, unfortunately. So the likes of the Too Many Octopus Middle Door, will we see another deplorable skin being produced and, submitted to the workshop this weekend? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but as time goes on, will the Sheep in the Door do a very, a good enough job to retain its value? I mean, these two were part of a collection that was very well hyped up. We didn't get a skin this week, yeah, but it's instantly gone down. Do you see that? It's instantly gone down. Now, both of these, real quickly, let's go take a look at them. Like, are they like really down bad, or is it just a few stragglers being listed? And well, for the likes of that, so for $2.49, this has what, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got like 8 listings below its restore price. Out of 34. And then if I go over to here, well, we got the likes of the Shadowborn Sheep in the Door, which sold significantly more. Remember, this did like 10,000 bare minimum sales. This did 20,000. And as I look over to here, this sold for $3, if you recall. And that's quite a lot of listings below. Oh my, yeah, sold for $2.99. And there's a lot of listings below $2.99. Yeah, so even if we saw the likes of a continuation for that, I don't think it's going to retain and stay up. I feel like that's going to go down regardless. We have far too many Sheep in the Door skins. Like, if I look at this right now, all right, if I go to Sheep in the Doors, and if I were to look at highest price, let's see if this is like very high up, sitting there at its literal restore price right there. So if I go to highest price, what do I see? Okay, it's quite literally in the very top part. At its restore price of $2.49. That means below this, all of these Sheep in the Doors are below $2.49. You know what? We could also take a look at the likes of the Hazzy Sheep in the Door real quickly. See, this is $1.49, which is normally the standard price for every single deplorable skin you would ever have, and of course Sheep in the Doors. So if I were to go look at this real quickly and look at highest price based on this skin, it's not even that much lower down. Wow. So basically, get this in your head. Every skin below this is below its standard normal price. And that is a lot of Sheep in the Doors. So do you understand now why I'm not super confident with the likes of Sheep in the Doors anymore? Now, I was like that regardless at the beginning of this year. But with the momentum of some of these skins and some of these collections, I thought, all right, maybe things are different now. No. There's far too many skins for Sheep in the Doors, and unfortunately, it really just doesn't look like any Sheep in the Doors is going to be doing very good now, being a profitable skin, unless it's manipulated, but yeah. So I've kind of talked about both of these skins, haven't I? But let's get the point across. Even if we see a continuation for the likes of this Too Many Octopus collection, I don't think that's going to be retaining its value. And for the likes of this, I guess the same thing can happen. This is actually Siege's first ever skin to be accepted. I do get the feeling that he will try and turn this into a collection, a deplorable collection maybe. But even then, I just can't help but assume even that will still go below its restore price. Maybe not as much compared to the likes of that one, because that one's selling for $1 more. But yeah, both of these kind of seem not super great at the moment. And yeah, whilst that one is abnormal, okay, we can use that to our advantage. We can do the abnormal barders and whatnot. I still think, Wednesday we'll look at that with its sales and think, even then I'm probably just going to stick with doing a buy order. Yeah. And both of these selling relatively around the same amount. I can't help but assume both of these are going to probably end up between 12 to 14,000 sales in total by Wednesday. The fact that both of these were in the restore at the same time probably did affect each other. But I should remind you, we literally just had a Sheep in the Door the previous week and the week before that. And I guess maybe not everybody's like going crazy wanting a brand new Sheep in the Door. But I'm actually quite surprised to see so many of these were bought and at the same time, and it's still around the same amount, and it looks like both of these are actually going to surpass the likes of the blocky door, which was literally just the previous week. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it looks like they're both going to beat it. I guess people just didn't really go super crazy for the likes of the blocky door. Or maybe these are suddenly going to slow down very much so from here and now and end up around the same position as the blocky sheet metal door. Keep your eyes on it, all right? So we'll leave that for now. But yeah, both of these, I think I am just going to stick with doing a barter on both of them, and that's it. Let's go ahead and look at the Black Diamond LR300. So potentially on the horizon, we'll be seeing a lot more of these Black Diamond skins being produced. Wouldn't be surprised. Now, there was an MP5 that was submitted, but it wasn't accepted. Maybe we'll see a resubmission of that at some point in the future. But we should now expect the likes of Black Diamond Thompson, Black Diamond, cool, what else could we see? L96, maybe even a bolt action rifle, maybe a SAP. Maybe a revolver, maybe a Python. You get the idea. We're going to see a whole bunch of these weapons. And it wouldn't surprise me if they all sell for a higher price of around $4 and whatnot. Now, the AK has actually bounced up a bit in price. Let's go quickly take a look at the likes of that. So typically, most of the time, when a collection only consists of weapons, we tend to see not very good result. Just pointing that out. However, with this being what appears to be a bit more of a well-esteemed and interesting-looking collection, of course with its higher price, maybe it looks like the collection might work out quite well in the future. So maybe this might have just been a buyout, though. Let's quickly go ahead and take a look. So if I look at liquidity, all right, there you go. Yeah, 64 sold on April 19, 2 days ago, when, of course, we saw the likes of that rust rotation taking place. So it looks like it was actually just an initial, bunch of people jumping in, grabbing what they could because they thought this might actually turn into a pretty interesting collection. Well, it's not the first time we've seen a very expensive collection of weapons, and, well, the aftermath was not very good. You know I'm talking about the likes of Black Gold, so we'll talk about that more in a second. But do you see how it kind of drops off pretty quickly afterwards? 46, then instantly down to here. Well, then again, it's quite late. So it's only just started, April 21. The rust rotation was late, don't forget that. But with the likes of this, well, I can't really sit here and say I'm super optimistic that it's always going to be sticking around this price, because of course if it does well, like better, there is going to be a lot of people listing theirs on the Steam market, and this did about it did 18,000 sales, 17,400. I do think there's more. Remember, SMM only can see so many accounts, but this right here, all right. The main reason why I talk more about the collection is because I've seen some LR300s do quite alright in the past, mainly due to the fact that they're part of a in-demand collection. Like last year, we had the likes of the Chameleon collection and the Redemption collection come out. And Redemption collection literally started off with an LR300, and the Chameleon collection ended up with a LR300 that didn't sell that much. And theirs were in the positive for a while. But if I go look at all the LR300s that came out in recent times, you might notice that, even that's gone down. So that sold for $3. At some point, it was in the positive for a while. Now it's down to $2. That's not good, is it? Redemption right here. At one point, that was selling for $7 a piece. Now it sells for $2. Wow. So yeah, both of these sold for $3. They went down to $2, and now you look at the likes of this Black Diamond LR300 selling at $4. Do you think it's going to retain its price? Well, first of all, let's just do a real quick comparison. This did 12,000 sales, and this right here, this did about 16,000 sales, bare minimum. At the current rate this is selling, I can't help but assume it's going to reach about 10,000 sales, and you might sit there and say, because it's selling for a higher price, it's not getting that many sales. Well, actually, if you look at some of these LR300s that came out somewhat recently, 10,000 sales seems kind of average, which is fine. Again, like I said, it's expensive. Not everybody's going to feel like, oh yeah, I want to spend $4 on an LR300. Remember, looking at these skins, they're not looking very good, are they? And, well, it's most likely due to gun demand. How often are you using and enjoying an LR300 at the moment? It doesn't appear to be very high on the totem pole of the meta. So basically, if there's no justification in using the weapon, with justification in owning a skin. Do you understand that? So low demand for the skins equals lower prices. Now, there's another thing that I want to bring up with the likes of this Black Diamond LR300. It's a very cool looking design, wrong thing. I meant to go to the workshop. It's a very cool, sleek black design produced by the likes of Mr. Bear Trip. Very nice quality piece of work. Very cool. Useful red aim sight. There's a very notable LR300 that's basically the exact same thing. and half the price, and probably will do a better job retaining its value. What's that? It's the Blackout LR300 right over. Where are you? Did I miss you? You're hidden. Where are you? No, where are you? I can't seem to find it. Oh, there it is. Right. Oh, wow. You're going to blow your rust off price. Only slightly, though. Only down by 2%. So, yeah, this is basically the exact same thing, part of the Blackout collection, which, of course, is a very well-established and very well in-demand collection. And most of the year, this is retaining its price. This is usually above its rust off price. And if I was going to be brutally honest with you, if you wanted a very nice, cool, sleek black design for a LR300 with a useful aim sight, which we can go and see right over here. Yep, there you go. Why not just buy this? And I think a lot of people know about that already. So I kind of worry that the only people really jumping in and buying into this are the investors or the people buying in excess hoping to try and flip it for a profit. So would that be genuine demand? No. Which would likely mean you're going to see a lot of these on third-party sites and, of course, the Steam market. Now, again, maybe people do like it and appreciate it and don't know the Blackout LR300 exists and half the price. All right, fair enough. But if you're going to sit there and say, Hedge, do you think that'll do a good job of retaining its value? I don't think so. Based on what we've seen with all the recent LR300 skin that have been accepted over the past couple of years and whatnot, you've seen their prices. Next to none of them are in the positive. There is the Cybercode one, but that seems to be manipulated at this current time. So, yeah, none of them are doing very good at the moment. So, by default, no, I don't think that's going to be a very good thing to jump into. However, for a buy order price, yes, maybe. Now, what buy order price might we want to do? Well, first of all, that is abnormal, so we know that's going to be appearing on the Steam market at an earlier time compared to most skins. But I think we just need to go to the past and look at Bad Trip's previous collection, which of course was the Black Gold collection. That was pretty much the exact same thing this Black Diamond collection is, which was a very well established, with a high esteem, cool looking weapon collection. That's how it started off with, which sold at a higher price. The AK, $5, now it's selling for $2. The MP5, $5, now it sells for $1.64. And of course, over here, we have the Black Gold LR300, and well, $1.55 after it sold for $5 in the Rust store. And that also did 23,000 sales, all right? So I don't think that's going to be selling as much, but I still think it's going to reach about maybe 10,000 sales, and even then, I still think it's going to go below its rust price. However, if we were to see more Black Diamond skins being accepted, could they potentially cause the LR300 to rise up? I mean, yeah, it did happen with the likes of the Redemption and the Chameleon collection, but don't assume it's going to be a huge, insane profit. It's an expensive skin by, usual standards, and at best, you'll probably maybe make $1. Unless it gets manipulated at some point, maybe, but that'd be a bit pricey, wouldn't it? So by default, I'd just stick with doing a buy order. And, well, we've got to wait until Wednesday until we figure out a decent price to offer for it. So with that, let's move on. Craboo, Bandana, and Poncho, or rather, Mr.Craboo, Bandana, and Poncho. This isn't selling that much, which is probably going to help it out a lot. Now, it might not be helping out the Boonie hat that much, because, well, that sold so much more. Well, that's at the current pace, but I still think the Poncho and the Bandana are probably only going to do just under about 10,000 bare minimum sales at best. And that's going to be a lot less compared to that, so I can't help but assume the Boonie hat's going to have a lot of listings on the Steam market. We shall see. We shall see. It's a goofy hat. It's a goofy set. Will we see more of this goofy set? Probably. I'm pretty sure VHS is very likely to keep continuing. What could he do next? What's a silly idea I had? We need some, claw gloves, don't we? Whether it's leather gloves or actual road sign gloves. We shall see. Are we going to get hide boots or burlap boots? I don't know. We shall see. But I do expect more primitive skins at the very least. So keep an eye on the workshop, of course. Yes, always keep an eye on the workshop. But with the likes of the skins here, well, go take a look at all the ponchos that have come out recently, and you'll see that they are not doing very well at the moment. Yeah, well, that one's doing all right. But yeah, a bit of a problem. But it's not selling that much, so maybe it's not going to be so bad. Maybe we'll see hardly any listings on the Steam market, and it actually does work out quite all right. And of course, if we do see continuations, we would expect a bit of a spike in demand, spike in price. But, even then, the Boonie hat still went down in prices, didn't it? But it did spike. Initially, the Boonie hat did go down to around $1, but then it did go up in price a little bit. It's like $1.40 right now. But, yeah, it will probably still go down, wouldn't it? So, all right, that was a bit conflicting, I know, I'm sorry. Now, this probably hasn't been selling that much, considering this exists, 2 ponchos in the same week. Bit random, very surprising that, but it happened. Yeah, probably 9 to 10,000 sales in total by Wednesday, but yeah, I don't know. It's $1.49. Well, yeah, and of course bandana masks. I should show that real quickly. They're not super great at the moment either. Yeah. So overall, looking at the state of this, even if it doesn't really sell that much, I'm not sure if the interest is going to stay. Goofy doesn't always sell super great. That's, of course, why I'm conflicted about that right there as well. But, yeah. Sorry if I'm not, like, super 100% sure of my words. I'm very sorry. But, yeah, like, am I literally going to be turning into a crab with all this red? It would be pretty funny. But, we'll see. Someone should do, like, a spider. How are they going to do all the legs? There's a Halloween idea, people. Keep that in your head, skin creators. But, alright, look, listen. I don't think it's going to be doing super great. This is actually selling at a higher price than what you'd normally expect. By default, ponchos and bandanas should be selling at 99 cents each. But, yeah, $1.49 each. They're both of normal. But even then, yeah. I don't really have a lot of faith in it, I'm sorry to say. I could be proven wrong, yeah, but even with like hardly any sales and whatnot, I kind of also look at that in a way thinking I just don't think it has that much demand. But with sheer lack of sales, it could potentially be manipulated at some point in the future. Let's not rule that out, but let's not rely on that either. So yeah, everything here except the gold chains poncho, not really selling super crazily, but it's conflicting. Like, okay, are we seeing a similar pattern based on what we saw the previous week? Because look at how many sales we had with the previous week's skins. You got a decent amount of them over 10,000, but quite literally just barely over 10,000 sales. And then you got quite a few of them that just hardly had any traction. And immediately you might notice that's down in price, that's starting to dip down in price, that's dipped down in price, that's dipped down in price. Maybe it's just a situation where we're just much better off just sticking with barders for the foreseeable future. And I've said that many times in the past, haven't I? But based on what we're seeing here, and what about if we go to the previous week from there? How are things looking right now? Oh dear. Yeah. Only 2 of them in the positive at the moment. Well, there you go. A smart buy order is usually the best way to go. So, yeah. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but yeah. So, alright then. That's not super great to look at, is it? So, I'm sorry. But I gotta be honest with you and whatnot, and it's kind of not looking super great. We were expecting a lot of potential collection continuations, and I was happy to see that, and I'll be honest with you, I was happy to see Black Diamond continuing, but there was a lot of other things we were really hopeful for, and yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. However, on the horizon, we potentially might be seeing complete the sets. We might be seeing some skins from the past, from notable collections, actually getting continuations. So, this is where I bring up the likes of what happened last year, and I actually have something to follow up with this, so don't worry. I know I've gone over this so many times in recent past, but yes, last year, May 11 and May 18 for 2023, we had Most Wanted, which Most Wanted consists of skins that had a lot of support in the workshop but weren't accepted, so, they appear here. And of course, the week that followed that, Complete the Sets, a rush store comprising of skins from notable collections that weren't accepted in the past, but now is the perfect time for it. Well, this time, after showing all of this, I want to bring up this collection of skins right here. Oops, sorry, I got that a little bit off center there. There you go. Oh, that worked. Okay. Last year, August 2023, in the lead up to a future Complete the Sets, I made this collection. Well, I've changed it up a bit and just simply set it and titled it as Complete the Sets Candidates, and basically all the skins that you see here, the skins themselves aren't necessarily the candidates, rather they are the representatives of collection candidates. And funnily enough, some of the skins I actually picked out actually got accepted for last year's Complete the Sets August, what was it, September? I think it was September 2023. But yeah, go look at all of this, and I've actually added some more skins from recent collections, so I'll organise this a whole lot better. But yeah, if I were to refresh this real quickly, what you see, yeah, Flashbacks, Kakloma, Chameleon, Thundergold, Neon Vibes, Cursed, Deer, all of that. I'm going to be adding all of that, and this should give you a good idea of skins you potentially might be seeing next month. And, well, there's a lot of interesting skins and skin collections that you see here. You're going to be seeing some very, very random acceptances. Skins that might have been submitted up to about 4 years ago. Yep, we've seen things like that. So stay optimistic for some interesting restores in the future. But yeah, that's only a maybe. We don't know 100% yet if this is going to actually happen. But I lean more towards I'm hopeful for it. So yeah, I'll link that collection in the description of this video. Look now, you'll probably find it. So that'll be the Complete the Sets Candidate collection. Give that a good look. And if we do know we're having a Complete the Sets, in May, I'll probably do a video going over this again. It won't be as long as the original one, but it'll just give you a reminder of what to expect and, could you prepare for it? You might. And, guys, as you can see here, we're still optimistic that we potentially might match up to the player counts we were seeing back in the summer of 2023. So I've been talking about that a whole lot recently, haven't I? We're optimistic. It is our expectations, but, with the likes of what we saw post-Christmas 2024, expectations don't always match, do they? So we shall see. We shall see. But today was a very decent amount of people playing. Things are still looking positive at the moment, so stay optimistic, see how things turn out. Keep an eye on the likes of the commits, lots of interesting things potentially on the horizon. And that's all I can really say. So keep your head up. We might be seeing some more weapons being added to the game. That sounds very interesting. And of course, always keep an eye on the likes of these skins. Oh, wow. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. The inflatable stone hatchet, that only came out recently, didn't it? Well, looks like that's having a bit of a buyout. Look at that. Now, at some point, it wouldn't surprise me if you see a whole bunch of bilders matching up to the price that you see there. That's the minute platers. They're trying to make it seem it's actually worth that price. It's not worth that price. No. So I'm sure you know things like that by now. But yeah, looks like that's literally just had a buyout right there, along with the likes of the Stonecraft hatchet. So yeah, look at this real quickly, and it's looking the exact same thing. So that's the initial part, or well, the beginning of a manipulation. And well, let's see if they end up making that appear to be, well, I don't know, maybe $100. I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see. So be warned, don't buy those skins. They are not worth that price. All right, just to warn you, they are not worth that price. Avoid. Okay, so remember to keep an eye on the workshop. Now, if you don't want to set yourself up with a followed authors list, don't forget you can always keep an eye on the likes of all the new skins and likes of Mr. Micro's website. Just click date submitted, and as you can see, yes, very nice, very cool. So yeah, that's it. That's all you can really do. And I feel like I've said everything that needs to be said. Sorry if I was a bit not definitive with all my words and whatnot. It's just really awkward at the moment. Like I said, with a smart build, if you just play it safe, everything works out quite alright. But you just never know what might randomly get a continuation and magically goes up in price insanely. With what I said in regards to the Cyber Collection, if you can recall, I wasn't super enthusiastic. I wasn't super optimistic for it. But even that went real high in price, didn't it? I'm trying to find out. Where is it? Where's Cyber Collection? There you go. Yeah, this is still doing okay. Or it's actually starting to slip back a bit. Well, only slightly, but yeah. Even things like this can work out quite alright. So you got to keep your eyes open. You got to be prepared. And as I said, manipulations keep happening. So, alright, you get the idea. That's cool. That's nice. So thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Best of luck to you and your investments. And we'll see how things turn out from here on now. Stay optimistic. Let's look forward to the summer. Catch you later. See you and goodbye.